Welcome to Z Cineplex, say your ultimate entertainment destination. Welcome to Z Cineplex, the home of entertainment, creativity, and cinematic excitement. Our channel is dedicated to bringing viewers a rich collection of engaging content that celebrates the world of movies, storytelling, and visual entertainment. Whether you're a passionate film enthusiast, someone who enjoys discovering new cinematic experiences, or simply looking for high-quality entertainment, Z Cineplex is designed to be your go-to destination. We strive to create content that is informative, enjoyable, and engaging for audiences of all ages, offering a unique blend of movie-related features, entertainment updates, insightful discussions, creative videos, and much more. Every upload is crafted with attention to quality, ensuring that our viewers receive an enjoyable experience that keeps them coming back for more. At Z Cineplex, we believe that cinema is more than just watching films. It's about experiencing emotions, exploring stories, appreciating creativity, and connecting with people who share the same passion for entertainment. Our mission is to build a vibrant community where movie lovers and entertainment enthusiasts can discover exciting content, share their opinions, and stay connected with the latest trends in the entertainment industry. We are committed to consistently improving our content, embracing new ideas, and delivering videos that entertain, inform, and inspire our growing audience. Whether you're here for movie highlights, entertainment discussions, reviews, cinematic moments, or fresh creative content, Z Cineplex promises an enjoyable journey filled with excitement, quality, and unforgettable entertainment. Join our community by subscribing, turning on notifications, and becoming part of the Z Cineplex family as we continue to explore the fascinating world of cinema and entertainment together. Thank you for your support, and welcome to Z Cineplex, where every video brings entertainment to life. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is a 2026 American animated adventure comedy film based on Nintendo's globally acclaimed Mario video game franchise, produced by Illumination in collaboration with Nintendo and distributed by Universal Pictures. The film serves as the highly anticipated sequel to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023. It is directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic from a screenplay by Matthew Fogel. Returning to reprise their roles are Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. The sequel also introduces several notable additions to the voice cast, including Benny Safdie, Donald Glover, Glenn Powell, and Brie Larson, who portray new characters inspired by Nintendo's expansive universe, expanding the scope of the franchise beyond the Mushroom Kingdom. The story follows Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Toad, Donkey Kong, and their allies as they embark on an epic journey across the cosmos after Bowser launches an ambitious campaign to conquer the galaxy. Their adventure leads them to encounter Princess Rosalina and the mysterious Lumas while battling Bowser and his son, Bowser Jr., whose quest for ultimate cosmic power threatens the balance of the universe. Combining large-scale interstellar action, imaginative worlds, heartfelt character moments, and the series' signature humor, the film draws heavily from Super Mario Galaxy, 2007, Super Mario Galaxy 2, 2010, and elements from other Nintendo franchises, including Star Fox, creating one of the most visually ambitious and expansive stories in the Mario cinematic universe. Development of the sequel was fueled by the unprecedented worldwide success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Even before the release of the first film, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa stated in May 2021 that the company intended to expand its presence in animated filmmaking if the Mario adaptation proved successful. Likewise, Illumination founder and CEO Chris Meledandri expressed enthusiasm about continuing the franchise, noting the wealth of storytelling opportunities available within Nintendo's catalog of beloved characters and games. Following the first film's record-breaking box office performance, Nintendo and Illumination officially announced in March 2024 that the second animated Mario feature was in development, with Horvath, Jelenic, and Fogel returning to continue the creative vision established by the original. The filmmakers sought to elevate every aspect of the sequel, drawing inspiration from the gravity-defying gameplay, breathtaking planetary environments, orchestral atmosphere, and emotional storytelling that made the Super Mario Galaxy games fan favorites while expanding the cinematic universe with new characters, larger-scale action sequences, and more ambitious world-building. The Super Mario Galaxy movie held its world premiere at Kyoto's historic Minamiza Theatre on March 28, 2026, before receiving a wide theatrical release in the United States on April 1, 2026, through Universal Pictures. Upon release, the film received a mixed to negative critical response, with reviewers praising its dazzling animation, vibrant visual effects, energetic action sequences, faithful recreation of Nintendo's iconic worlds, and memorable musical score, while criticism focused primarily on its narrative structure, pacing, and character development. Despite the divided critical reception, audiences responded enthusiastically, making the film a major commercial triumph. Produced on an estimated budget of approximately $110 million, it turned more than $1.01 billion at the global box office, becoming the highest-grossing film released in 2026 and the second highest-grossing video game adaptation of all time, surpassed only by its predecessor. The film further cemented the Mario franchise as one of the most successful animated and video game-based film series in cinematic history while reinforcing Nintendo and Illumination's long-term commitment to expanding the company's iconic gaming properties into a shared animated universe. Following the defeat of Bowser during the events of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, Peach has returned to the Mushroom Kingdom. Having been magically shrunk by Princess Peach, Bowser is kept under guard while reluctantly undergoing rehabilitation. Elsewhere in the cosmos, Princess Rosalina continues to watch over the universe from the Comet Observatory alongside the Lumas, the star-like creatures she has lovingly adopted and raised. The tranquility of the galaxy is shattered when Bowser Jr., Bowser's estranged son, launches a surprise attack on the observatory and kidnaps Rosalina. Hoping to restore his father's former glory, Bowser Jr. plans to siphon Rosalina's immense cosmic power into a gigantic super weapon capable of destroying entire galaxies. By harnessing her celestial energy, he intends to construct a universe-destroying cannon that will allow Bowser to conquer not only the Mushroom Kingdom but the entire universe. At the same time, Mario and Luigi are dispatched to investigate unusual activity in Tasterina Town. Their investigation leads them to a young green dinosaur named Yoshi, whose egg had mysteriously hatched in Brooklyn after passing through an interdimensional portal. After accidentally damaging a dinosaur skeleton inside a museum and being chased back through the portal, Yoshi finds himself in his native world, where he quickly befriends Mario and Luigi. Soon afterward, one of Rosalina's loyal Lumas reaches the Mushroom Kingdom and informs Princess Peach and Toad that Rosalina has been abducted. Recognizing the scale of the crisis, Peach and Toad immediately depart to search for Rosalina across the galaxies, while Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi remain behind to defend the Mushroom Kingdom and oversee Bowser's rehabilitation. Despite his continued resentment toward the heroes, Bowser Jr.'s plan soon reaches the Mushroom Kingdom when he uses a massive spacecraft to lift Princess Peach's castle into outer space in an attempt to rescue his imprisoned father. Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi pursue the flying fortress and engage Bowser Jr. in an aerial battle that ends with Peach's castle crashing into the Honey Hive Galaxy. During the confrontation, Bowser deliberately provokes Mario into striking him with enough force to reverse the magic that had reduced his size, restoring the Koopa King to his full strength. Surprisingly, Bowser briefly agrees to surrender peacefully and accept responsibility for the destruction he has caused if Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi are allowed safe passage to the Gateway Galaxy. Before the arrangement can be completed, however, Bowser Jr. unexpectedly abducts his father, revealing that his elaborate scheme has been driven by a desperate desire to reunite with the parent he has not seen in years. Meanwhile, Peach and Toad continued their search through the galaxy until Toad's backpack is stolen by the mischievous monkey thief Yukiki, whose escape leads them to a hidden intergalactic casino owned by the villainous Wart. After confronting Wart, Peach forces him to reveal that Rosalina is being held captive within the dangerous space junk galaxy. However, Wart secretly informs Bowser and Bowser Jr. of Peach's location, allowing the villains to prepare for the heroes' arrival. Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi eventually reunite with Peach and Toad, who have recruited legendary space pilot Fox McCloud to transport them aboard his Arwing spacecraft. During their journey, Bowser Jr. ambushes the group, causing the Arwing to crash land in Fossil Falls. Using a powerful super scope, Bowser Jr. transforms Mario and Luigi into infants, leaving them vulnerable amid the land populated by prehistoric creatures. Although Bowser briefly expresses remorse for manipulating Mario and Luigi after witnessing his son's increasingly reckless behavior, he ultimately abandons any attempt at redemption in order to rebuild his relationship with Bowser Jr. Meanwhile, Yoshi courageously rescues the infant brothers from a rampaging Tyrannosaurus, recovers the super scope, and restores Mario and Luigi to their normal ages. Luigi then contacts Rosalina's Loomis, who escort the heroes to the Comet Observatory. There, Rosalina reveals a long-hidden secret to Princess Peach. The two are sisters born from stardust and possess the same extraordinary cosmic abilities. Rosalina explains that she secretly sent the infant Peach to the Mushroom Kingdom many years earlier to protect her from an unknown cosmic threat. When Peach and Rosalina join hands, they awaken the full power of the cosmos, proving that only together can they restore balance to the universe. As Bowser Jr. completes the construction of Planet Bowser, Fox McCloud, Toad, and the Loomis pilot the Comet Observatory while Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Yoshi launch a final assault on the villain's newly created fortress world. Mario and Peach confront Bowser atop a bridge spanning a vast lava moat, where Mario succeeds in knocking Bowser into the molten depths. Although the fall strips away his flesh and transforms him into the skeletal dry Bowser, he survives and continues fighting beside his son. Luigi and Yoshi support Mario by using a variety of classic power-ups to battle Bowser Jr. and his enormous mechanical creations. During the climactic battle, one of Bowser Jr.'s own inventions turns against him, forcing Mario to destroy it in order to save the young Koopa's life despite everything he has done. Witnessing Mario's compassion causes Bowser Jr. to question his understanding of heroism and loyalty. As the battle reaches its conclusion, Peach revives the weakened Rosalina, and together the sisters combine their celestial powers to unleash an immense wave of cosmic energy that destroys the universe-destroying cannon and transforms the barren planet Bowser into a flourishing world filled with new life. With Bowser and Bowser Jr. defeated, the heroes return triumphantly to the Mushroom Kingdom, where Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, Peach, Rosalina, the Toads, and the Loomis work together to rebuild Peach's castle and restore peace throughout the kingdom. Fox McCloud transports Bowser and Bowser Jr. to prison before returning to his own universe. In a mid-credits epilogue, Princess Daisy arrives in the Gateway Galaxy and stops Yukiki from carrying out another robbery, hinting at future adventures and further expanding the interconnected Nintendo Cinematic Universe. The film features the return of much of the principal voice cast from the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023, alongside several prominent newcomers portraying iconic Nintendo characters. Chris Pratt reprises his role as Mario, the courageous Italian-American plumber from Brooklyn whose heroism has made him the Mushroom Kingdom's greatest defender. As the leader of the adventure, Mario embarks on his most ambitious quest yet, traveling across the galaxy to rescue Princess Rosalina and stop Bowser Jr.'s plan to destroy the universe. Charlie Day returns as Luigi, Mario's kind-hearted but anxious younger twin brother, whose courage continues to grow as he faces increasingly dangerous cosmic threats. Anya Taylor-Joy reprises her role as Princess Peach, the fearless ruler of the Mushroom Kingdom, who discovers during the adventure that she is the long-lost younger sister of Princess Rosalina and possesses powerful celestial abilities connected to the origins of the universe. Jack Black returns as Bowser, the king of the Koopas, who begins the story imprisoned and magically shrunken after his previous defeat before eventually regaining his full strength and becoming entangled in the schemes of his son. Keegan-Michael Key also reprises his role as Toad, the optimistic and loyal Mushroom Kingdom citizen who accompanies Peach throughout the intergalactic mission and provides both comic relief and unwavering support for the heroes. Joining the returning cast is Benny Safdie, who voices Bowser Jr., the ambitious prince of the Koopas and Bowser's estranged son. Determined to restore his father's reputation, Bowser Jr. orchestrates the kidnapping of Princess Rosalina and constructs a devastating cosmic superweapon capable of destroying entire galaxies. Donald Glover voices Yoshi, the friendly green dinosaur who befriends Mario and Luigi after an unusual journey from Brooklyn back to his homeworld. Throughout the adventure, Yoshi becomes one of the team's most dependable allies, using his agility, bravery, and unique abilities to help overcome numerous challenges. Glenn Powell portrays Fox McCloud, the legendary Fox mercenary and ace pilot from another galaxy who commands the iconic Arwing spacecraft. Hired by Peach and Toad to transport the heroes through space, Fox plays a crucial role in the battle against Bowser Jr.'s expanding galactic empire. Brie Larson voices Princess Rosalina, the benevolent guardian of the cosmos who resides within the Comet Observatory and lovingly watches over the Lumas, her adopted star-like children. During the course of the story, Rosalina is revealed to be Princess Peach's long-lost older sister, with the pair sharing extraordinary cosmic powers that ultimately prove essential to saving the universe. The supporting voice cast introduces several additional characters from across Nintendo's universe. Luis Matilda and voices Wart, the cunning crime boss who operates a hidden casino within the Gateway Galaxy and reluctantly reveals Rosalina's location after being confronted by Princess Peach. Issa Rae portrays the Honey Queen, the majestic ruler of the Honey Hive Galaxy, who assists the heroes during their journey across the stars. Returning from the previous film, Kevin Michael Richardson reprises his role as Kamek, Bowser's loyal Magikarp advisor, strategist, and court magician. While Lyric Bowser returns as the Blue Toad General, a trusted member of Princess Peach's royal court who helps coordinate the Mushroom Kingdom's defenses during Bowser Jr.'s invasion. Julia Jelenic, daughter of co-director Michael Jelenic, reprises her role as Luma Lee, the eccentric and darkly humorous Blue Luma who, following the events of the previous film, now serves as a prison guard overseeing Bowser and Bowser Jr.'s incarceration. Roxana Ortega voices Yukiki, the mischievous monkey thief whose repeated attempts at stealing valuable possessions create several obstacles for the heroes during their travels through the Gateway Galaxy. Co-director Michael Jelenic's daughters, Pepper Jelenic and Virginia Dare Jelenic, collectively provide the voices of the Lumas, Rosalina's playful adopted children whose magical abilities help guide and protect the heroes throughout their cosmic adventure. Additionally, story supervisor Ed Scudder voices ROB, a helpful robotic assistant stationed in the Gateway Galaxy who supports the heroes as they prepare for their final mission against Bowser Jr., further expanding the film celebration of Nintendo's wider universe. Development of the Super Mario Galaxy movie began shortly after the success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023, although Nintendo had already signaled its ambitions to expand its film slate years earlier. In May 2021, well before the release of the first Mario film, Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa stated that the company was interested in producing additional animated features based on its extensive library of intellectual properties if the Mario adaptation proved successful. Following the release of the first film, its post-credits scene teased the arrival of Yoshi, immediately fueling speculation that a sequel was already being planned. Members of the cast also openly discussed ideas for future installments. Jack Black, who voices Bowser, expressed enthusiasm for expanding the series and suggested that Pedro Pascal would be an entertaining choice to portray Wario, Mario's self-proclaimed arch-rival, in a future film. After the Super Mario Bros. Movie became one of the highest-grossing animated films of all time, Nintendo confirmed in April 2023 that it intended to produce more feature films based on its video game franchises, although the company stopped short of officially announcing a direct Mario sequel. 2 months later, Chris Pratt revealed that an announcement regarding another Mario film was expected soon but noted that the 2023 Writers Guild of America strike had affected production schedules and development plans. In December 2023, Jack Black humorously proposed that the sequel should take the form of a musical centered on Bowser under the title Bowser's Revenge, reflecting the popularity of his musical performance of Peaches in this first film. The sequel was officially confirmed during Nintendo's annual Mario Day presentation in March 2024, when Illumination founder and chief executive officer Chris Meledandri appeared alongside Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto to announce that the second animated Mario feature had entered active development. Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic returned as directors, while Matthew Fogel once again wrote the screenplay. During the presentation, Meledandri revealed that Illumination had already begun extensive pre-production work, including storyboarding, character development, concept artwork, and the creation of entirely new environments designed to significantly expand the scope of the Mario cinematic universe. From the outset, the filmmakers envisioned the sequel as a larger, more ambitious adventure that would move beyond the familiar landscapes of the Mushroom Kingdom and explore the vast reaches of outer space through imaginative new galaxies, planets, and civilizations inspired by Nintendo's classic games. Throughout production, the creative team emphasized that the sequel would deliver a richer and more expansive experience than its predecessor. In October 2024, Keegan-Michael Key stated that the film would be considerably broader in scope, featuring a combination of beloved returning characters, entirely new additions, and several deep-cut references intended to reward longtime Nintendo fans. Meledandri explained that while Super Mario Galaxy 2007 and Super Mario Galaxy 2 2010 served as the primary creative inspirations for the story, visual design, and cosmic setting, the filmmakers deliberately incorporated elements from numerous eras of Mario history to create a celebration of the franchise as a whole. Beyond the Galaxy games, the film includes references to other Nintendo properties, allowing the sequel to further establish an interconnected animated universe while remaining faithful to the spirit of the source material. Shigeru Miyamoto later revealed that the project underwent several significant creative changes during development. One of the earliest concepts envisioned the sequel primarily as a Yoshi-focused adventure in which the beloved dinosaur would spend a substantial portion of the story living in Brooklyn before joining Mario's world. As the screenplay evolved, that concept was ultimately condensed into a brief montage sequence, allowing the narrative to focus instead on the larger cosmic storyline involving Rosalina, Bowser Jr., and the Lumas. Miyamoto also explained that the creative team sought to further develop Princess Peach flowing audience responses to the first film. Although her portrayal as a capable and independent ruler was well received, Miyamoto, Horvath, Jelenic, and Meledandri believe that giving Peach greater emotional depth would make her a more relatable protagonist. Consequently, the sequel explores her personal insecurities, evolving relationship with Mario, and the emotional revelation of her connection to Princess Rosalina, adding a more character-driven dimension to the intergalactic adventure. Miyamoto further stated that the film's brisk pacing was an intentional creative decision designed to maintain a constant sense of excitement and discovery, ensuring that both younger viewers and family audiences remained fully engaged throughout the film while preserving the energetic, fast-moving spirit that has long defined the Mario video game series. The official title, The Super Mario Galaxy Movie, was unveiled by Nintendo during a Nintendo Direct presentation in September 2025, marking the beginning of the film's promotional campaign and confirming several key members of the returning creative team. Alongside the title announcement, Nintendo confirmed that Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, and Kevin Michael Richardson would reprise their respective roles as Mario, Princess Peach, Luigi, Bowser, Toad, and Kamek following their performances in the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2023. The presentation also revealed that acclaimed composer Brian Tyler would return to compose the musical score, continuing the orchestral style and incorporating new arrangements inspired by Nintendo's classic video game soundtracks while expanding the musical identity of the growing Mario cinematic universe. Additional casting announcements were made over the following months as Nintendo gradually introduced the film's new characters. On November 12, 2025, Nintendo premiered the film's first full trailer during a dedicated Nintendo Direct presentation, simultaneously confirming Academy Award-winning actress Brie Larson as the voice of Princess Rosalina and actor Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr., the film's primary antagonist. Rosalina's introduction represented one of the most anticipated additions to the animated Mario franchise, while Bowser Jr.'s appearance expanded the Koopa family and introduced a new emotional dynamic between father and son that became central to the story. Larson's portrayal emphasized Rosalina's compassion, wisdom, and maternal relationship with the Lumas, whereas Safdie's performance balanced Bowser Jr.'s youthful determination, insecurity, and ambition as he sought to restore his father's legacy by conquering the universe. The film's final trailer, released on March 9, 2026, revealed several additional high-profile cast members joining the production. Donald Glover was announced as the voice of Yoshi, portraying the beloved green dinosaur as one of Mario and Luigi's closest companions throughout their intergalactic adventure. Nintendo also confirmed Issa Rae as the voice of the Honey Queen, ruler of the Honey Hive Galaxy, and Luis Guzmán N as Ward, the crime boss who operates a secret casino within the Gateway Galaxy. Glover's casting was particularly notable because he voiced Yoshi in every officially dubbed international version of the film, ensuring a consistent vocal performance for the character across worldwide releases. Just days before the film's theatrical premiere, on March 27, 2026, Nintendo surprised fans by announcing that Glenn Powell had joined the cast as Fox McCloud, the legendary pilot and protagonist of Nintendo's Star Fox series. Fox's appearance marked the first major crossover between the Mario film series and another Nintendo franchise, significantly expanding the scope of the company's developing animated cinematic universe. According to producer Chris Meledandri, both Donald Glover and Glenn Powell personally expressed interest in joining the franchise shortly after the enormous success of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Powell, a longtime admirer of Nintendo's science fiction series, described portraying Fox McCloud as the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. While Glover had long hoped to participate in a Nintendo film and eagerly pursued the opportunity to voice Yoshi, their enthusiasm ultimately led Meledandri to approach both actors during the sequel's development, resulting in their eventual casting. Fox McCloud's inclusion was warmly received by figures closely associated with the Star Fox franchise. Representatives from Argonaut Games, whose technology helped define the original Star Fox on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, expressed pride in seeing the character introduced onto Nintendo's animated film universe. Likewise, former Nintendo designer Takaya Imamura, who played a significant role in creating Fox McCloud and much of the Star Fox cast, said he was deeply moved by the character's cinematic debut and publicly thanked Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto for making the crossover possible. For the Japanese-language version of the film, the voice cast was given considerable creative freedom to improvise portions of their dialogue, allowing performers to further personalize their interpretations while preserving the personalities and humor of Nintendo's iconic characters. As with its predecessor, the Super Mario Galaxy movie was animated by Illumination Studios Paris, the Paris-based animation division of Illumination responsible for bringing Nintendo's iconic characters to the big screen. Active production on the sequel was underway by March 2024, shortly after Nintendo and Illumination officially announced the project during the annual Mario Day presentation. Building upon the technical achievements of the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023, the animation team sought to significantly expand the visual scope of the franchise by creating a far more ambitious intergalactic adventure. The production required the development of dozens of entirely new environments inspired primarily by Super Mario Galaxy, 2007, and Super Mario Galaxy 2, 2010, including expansive planetary landscapes, colorful nebulae, gravity-defying worlds, cosmic observatories, asteroid fields, and stylized outer space settings. Artists combined Illumination's signature vibrant animation style with cinematic lighting, enhanced particle simulations, volumetric effects, and more sophisticated rendering techniques to faithfully recreate the whimsical atmosphere of Nintendo's Galaxy games while giving each location its own distinct visual identity. Throughout production, The studio also refined its character animation to deliver more expressive performances than those seen in the first film. Particular attention was devoted to subtle facial expressions, body language, and emotional interactions, especially during scenes involving Mario and Luigi's brotherly relationship, Princess Peach's evolving bond with Rosalina, Bowser's conflicted relationship with Bowser Jr., and Rosalina's maternal connection with the Lumas. The animation team further enhanced action sequences by incorporating dynamic virtual camera movements, large-scale environmental destruction, and complex gravity-based choreography inspired directly by the gameplay mechanics of the Super Mario Galaxy series. New visual effects technology was employed to create realistic star fields, celestial energy, planetary transformations, cosmic portals, and the glowing stardust effects associated with Rosalina's powers, helping distinguish the sequel from the more earthbound environments featured in the previous installment. Animation on the film was completed in November 2025, allowing the production to transition into post-production, where artists finalized lighting, compositing, visual effects, color grading, and sound synchronization. In January 2026, Illumination founder and producer Chris Meledandri confirmed that principal animation had officially concluded and that the film had entered its final post-production phase ahead of its scheduled theatrical release. During this stage, the filmmakers concentrated on refining the pacing, integrating Brian Toller's orchestral score with the finished animation, and polishing the film's large-scale visual effects to ensure a seamless cinematic presentation. Several individual sequences received special attention from members of the animation team. Among them was the scene in which Fox McCloud recounts his personal history and explains his motivation for assisting Mario and his friends. This emotionally driven sequence was animated by Benjamin Four, whose work emphasized nuanced character acting and expressive facial animation while balancing the film's dramatic storytelling with its stylized visual aesthetic. The sequence became one of several standout examples of the production's commitment to combining heartfelt character moments with spectacular science fiction imagery, reflecting Illumination's most technically ambitious animation work on a Mario film to date. The musical score for the Super Mario Galaxy movie was composed by Brian Tyler, who returned after scoring the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023. His involvement was officially confirmed on September 12, 2025, when Nintendo and Illumination announced that he would once again provide the orchestral soundtrack for the sequel. Building upon the musical foundation established in the first film, Tyler sought to create a grander and more emotionally expansive score that reflected the film's larger cosmic setting while remaining faithful to Nintendo's iconic musical heritage. The soundtrack blends sweeping symphonic orchestration with contemporary cinematic arrangements, incorporating numerous melodies and motifs drawn from the Super Mario Galaxy, 2007, and Super Mario Galaxy 2, 2010, video games, alongside recognizable themes from other entries in the long-running Super Mario series. By weaving together newly composed material with reimagined versions of Koji Kondo's classic melodies and themes from the Galaxy titles, Tyler crafted a score that captures both the adventurous spirit and emotional scale of Mario's first intergalactic journey on the big screen. During the film's production, Tyler revealed that some portions of the score were composed under unusual circumstances. While recovering in a hospital, he continued writing music for the project without informing the medical staff, later explaining that he remained committed to completing the soundtrack despite his medical situation. This dedication allowed the creative process to continue uninterrupted and reflected his personal passion for the Mario franchise and the ambitious scope of the sequel. Once principal composition was completed, the music was recorded with a 70-piece orchestra, whose performances emphasized the film's epic sense of adventure through powerful brass fanfares, sweeping string arrangements, delicate choral textures, and celestial orchestration designed to evoke the wonder and mystery of outer space. The score also features dynamic action cues, emotional character themes, and playful musical references that accompany the film's blend of comedy, adventure, and heartfelt storytelling. The official soundtrack was released on April 1, 2026, the same day as the film's worldwide theatrical debut. Issued through Backlot Music in digital formats and Diam 8-bit in physical editions, the album features Brian Auler's complete original score together with his orchestral arrangements inspired by Nintendo's celebrated game music. The soundtrack received praise from audiences and critics for successfully balancing nostalgic references with original compositions, particularly its reinterpretations of themes from the Super Mario Galaxy games, which complemented the film's expansive visual style and reinforced its emotional and cinematic scale. The Super Mario Galaxy movie premiered at the historic Minamiza Theater in Kyoto, Japan, on March 28, 2026, before receiving its wide theatrical release in the United States on April 1, 2026. Through Universal Pictures. The film was released in a variety of premium exhibition formats, including REL 3D, IMAX, and standard 2D presentations, allowing audiences to experience its expansive cosmic environments, gravity-defying action sequences, and visually spectacular animation on large format screens. The film was originally scheduled to debut on April 3, 2026. But Universal and Nintendo later moved the release forward by 2 days to April 1, positioning it to maximize attendance during the early spring holiday period and giving it a longer opening weekend in several international markets. Following its North American debut, the Super Mario Galaxy movie was released progressively across major international territories before opening theatrically in Japan on April 24, 2026. Where it received a high-profile nationwide release supported by extensive promotional campaigns from Nintendo and its distribution partners. As Nintendo's flagship cinematic release of the year, the film benefited from global marketing that included multiple trailers, Nintendo Direct presentations, television advertising, promotional merchandise, gaming tie-ins, and collaborations with retail partners. Premium format screenings, particularly IMAX and REL 3D, were heavily promoted to showcase the film's richly detailed interstellar settings, dynamic planetary landscapes, and large-scale space battles, all of which were specifically designed to take advantage of immersive theatrical presentation. The worldwide theatrical rollout reflected Nintendo and Illumination's continued strategy of positioning the Mario film series as a major global event franchise. The combination of an earlier-than-planned release date, premium format availability, and an extensive international marketing campaign contributed to the film's strong commercial performance, enabling it to attract large family audiences and video game fans throughout its global release and further establishing the Mario Cinematic Universe as one of the most successful animated film franchises in contemporary cinema. Following its successful theatrical run, the Super Mario Galaxy movie was released on video on demand, VOD, platforms in the United States on May 19, 2026, allowing audiences to purchase or rent the film digitally through major online retailers and streaming storefronts. The digital release included high-definition and 4K Ultra HD versions, giving viewers access to the film's visually rich animation and expansive cosmic environments from home. As part of Universal Pictures' established home entertainment strategy, the early digital release enabled the film to reach a wider audience shortly after its theatrical debut while capitalizing on its continued commercial momentum and strong audience demand. Under Universal Pictures' long-term distribution agreement for its animated features, the film also follows a multi-platform streaming release schedule in the United States. During its post-theatrical pay-one window, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is scheduled to stream exclusively on Peacock for the first 4 months. After that initial exclusivity period, the streaming rights transition to Netflix for the following 10 months, allowing the film to reach a broader subscription audience. Once the Netflix licensing period concludes, the film returns to Peacock for an additional 4-month streaming window, reflecting Universal's strategy of balancing exclusive access on its own streaming service with wider distribution through third-party platforms. Physical home media editions were released on June 16, 2026, in 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray, and DVD formats. The physical release includes high-definition video and enhanced audio presentations, along with a selection of bonus features highlighting the making of the film. These extras include behind-the-scenes documentaries, filmmaker and cast interviews, featurettes exploring the animation process and character design, insights into Brian Auler's orchestral score, and additional content focusing on the creation of the film's expansive galaxy-inspired environments. The home media release provided fans with a comprehensive collection celebrating the film's production while extending the reach of Nintendo and Illumination's successful animated adaptation beyond its theatrical release. As of June 29, 2026, the Super Mario Galaxy movie had grossed approximately $430 million in the United States and Canada and $580 million in international markets, bringing its worldwide total to $1.01 billion. Produced on an estimated budget of $110 million, the film became one of the year's most profitable theatrical releases and a major commercial triumph for Nintendo, Illumination, and Universal Pictures. It emerged as the highest-grossing film released in 2026, the highest-grossing animated film of the year, and the second-highest-grossing video game adaptation of all time, behind only its predecessor, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023. The film also established several notable box office milestones, including the largest worldwide opening weekend of 2026, becoming the only animated film franchise to produce two installments opening to more than $350 million globally, the fifth largest worldwide opening for an animated film, the second largest global opening for an Illumination production, the second largest opening weekend for a film based on a video game, and the fourth largest Easter three-day opening in North American box office history. In the United States and Canada, the film delivered an exceptionally strong opening. It turned $34 million on its first day of release, surpassing the $31.7 million opening day achieved by the Super Mario Bros. Movie. After only 2 days in release, the sequel had accumulated $122.1 million worldwide, demonstrating powerful audience demand and strong word of mouth. During its first 3 days in North America, the film earned $131.7 million, securing the fourth largest Easter three-day opening weekend of all time, behind Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, $166 million, Furious 7, $147.8 million, and The Super Mario Bros. Movie, $146.4 million. Including the extended holiday period, the film finished its first 5 days with an impressive $190.8 million, making it the fourth largest 5-day domestic opening on record, trailing only Moana 2, 2024, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023, and Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, 2009. The sequel also recorded the highest Monday box office gross of 2026, earning $16.8 million on its first Monday and demonstrating unusually strong weekday attendance. The film continued to dominate the North American box office throughout its theatrical run. In its second weekend, it remained in first place with $68 million, representing a solid 49% decline from its opening weekend, a hold considered favorable for a major family blockbuster. It retained the top position again during its third weekend, adding $36.5 million as it continued to attract family audiences and repeat viewers. During its fourth weekend, the film was overtaken by Michael, the biographical drama about Michael Jackson, and finished in second place with $20.6 million, although it continued to post strong overall earnings and quickly surpassed the domestic totals of many other major releases of the year. Internationally, the Super Mario Galaxy movie also achieved remarkable success across global markets. Opening simultaneously in 80 international territories, the film earned $182.4 million during its opening weekend outside North America. Combined with its domestic debut, this resulted in a worldwide opening of $372.6 million, establishing the largest global opening weekend of 2026 and reaffirming the Mario franchise's enormous international appeal. Strong performances in major markets across Europe, Latin America, Asia, and Oceania, together with sustained attendance in Japan following its later release, enabled the film to maintain consistent momentum throughout its theatrical run. its worldwide earnings ultimately exceeded the $1 billion milestone, further cementing the Mario film series as one of the most commercially successful animated franchises ever produced and reinforcing Nintendo's position as one of the leading forces in contemporary video game adaptations for the global film industry. The Super Mario Galaxy movie received a mixed to negative response from professional critics, although audience reception was considerably more positive. On the review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, 42% of 223 critics' reviews were positive, with an average rating of 5.2. The website's critical consensus stated, "Packed with colorful world-building that's as frenetic as it is weightless, the Super Mario Galaxy movie's visuals are often out of this world but the threadbare story ultimately loses its Milky Way." On Metacritic, which assigns a weighted average score based on selected reviews, the film received a score of 37 out of 100 from 45 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. Despite the divided critical reception, general audiences responded much more enthusiastically. Moviegoers surveyed by CinemaScore awarded the film an average grade of an A+ to F scale, only slightly below the A earned by its predecessor, while Post-Track reported that 79% of surveyed audiences gave the film a positive overall rating, with 62% stating that they would definitely recommend it to others. Many critics praised the film's technical achievements while criticizing its storytelling. Writing for Deadline Hollywood, Glenn Garner described the sequel as an entertaining continuation of the franchise, commending its nostalgic references, energetic pacing, impressive animation, and ensemble voice cast. Garner particularly highlighted the emotional father and son relationships between Bowser and Bowser Jr., Princess Peach and Rosalina's newly introduced family connection, and the performances of Donald Glover as Yoshi and Glenn Powell as Fox McCloud, arguing that the film successfully broadened the Mario cinematic universe while laying the groundwork for future Nintendo adaptations. Frank Scheck of The Hollywood Reporter similarly praised the film's hyperkinetic energy, lavish animation, and star-studded vocal performances, concluding that it effectively delivered the colorful spectacle expected by its target family audience even if older viewers unfamiliar with the games might find its appeal more limited. Reviewing for the Seattle Times, Soren Anderson admired the film's remarkable visual density and described its imagery as closely resembling the experience of playing Super Mario Galaxy, applauding its ambitious science fiction setting and themes of family while noting that longtime fans of the franchise would likely appreciate its extensive references more than casual viewers. Joseph A. Wolf, son of Fox News, also responded positively, calling the sequel an enjoyable family adventure that surpassed the original film in several respects. He praised Brian Oller's sweeping orchestral score, the dazzling animation, Jack Black's energetic vocal performance as Bowser, and the film's ability to entertain both younger audiences and longtime Nintendo fans. Similarly, IGN's Clint Gage described the film as a visually spectacular sequel packed with references, inventive action sequences, and faithful recreations of beloved game worlds, although he believed its overcrowded narrative and lack of a focused emotional storyline prevented it from matching the effectiveness of its predecessor. Other reviewers appreciated the film's visual artistry while expressing reservations about its narrative execution. Lindsay Bear of the Associated Press praised the imaginative depiction of outer space, the film's playful family dynamics, and its colorful animation, though she criticized the prominence of merchandise tie-ins and corporate branding throughout the story. Gene Park of The Washington Post admired the film's physical comedy, side-scrolling visual homages to classic video games and early cinema, and several of its large-scale action sequences, but felt that its relentless pacing and rapid-fire dialogue left little room for emotional investment or for Brian Tyler's orchestral score to resonate fully. Andrei Lakowski of Time Out awarded the film 3 out of 5 stars, describing it as a light-hearted and affectionate adaptation that successfully captured the charm of Nintendo's universe despite lacking significant thematic depth. A larger number of critics, however, viewed the sequel as visually overwhelming and narratively underdeveloped. Owen Gleiberman of Variety, who had praised the Super Mario Bros. Movie, described the sequel as frenetic and disappointing, arguing that the filmmaker's considerable talents were overshadowed by an overemphasis on spectacle at the expense of storytelling. Tim Grierson of Screen International similarly criticized the film's cluttered action sequences and strained humor, writing that it too frequently mistook relentless visual activity for genuine excitement. Wilson Chapman of IndieWire assigned the film a C, arguing that although the Super Mario Galaxy games inspire wonder and creativity, the adaptation ultimately felt constrained by a highly corporate approach to blockbuster filmmaking. Clint Worthington of RogerRabbit.com gave the film 1.5 stars out of 4, suggesting that it functioned primarily as colorful family entertainment without offering substantial artistic ambition or emotional depth. Clarice Lowry of The Independent awarded the film 2 stars out of 5, criticizing what she described as its lack of memorable humor and emotional engagement, while Tara Brady of the Irish Times argued that potentially compelling storylines involving Bowser and Bowser Jr. and the newly revealed relationships between Peach and Rosalina were introduced but never fully developed. Brady also felt that Glenn Powell's Fox McCloud was significantly underused despite being one of the film's most anticipated additions. Several reviewers were considerably harsher in their assessments. Barry Hertz of The Globe and Mail offered a strongly negative critique, comparing the experience unfavorably to cosmic horror and arguing that the film lacked meaningful redeeming qualities. Eli Friedberg of Slant magazine described it as a technically accomplished but artistically empty blockbuster whose extraordinary animation failed to compensate for its lack of creative ambition. Alyssa Wilkinson of The New York Times criticized the film's overstuffed narrative, stating that its constant movement prevented audiences from becoming emotionally invested in the characters, although she acknowledged the inventiveness of its galaxy-spanning environments and imaginative production design. Bill Jabiri of Vulture similarly argued that the film's relentless sensory overload created an exhausting viewing experience, though he singled out the hand-animated introduction of Fox McCloud as one of its strongest sequences. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian awarded the film 1 out of 5 stars, calling it an uninspired and emotionally inert sequel, while Kevin Maher of The Times gave it 0 stars out of 5, delivering one of the year's harshest reviews by condemning its storytelling, pacing, and overall cinematic experience in highly hyperbolic terms. William Bibbiani of The Wrap also criticized the film's lack of thematic substance, arguing that its spectacular visuals could not compensate for an absence of meaningful narrative purpose. Overall, critics widely agreed that the Super Mario Galaxy movie represented a substantial technical achievement, with particular praise directed toward Illumination's animation, the richly detailed galaxy-inspired environments, Brian Auler's orchestral score, numerous Nintendo references, and the performances of the expanded voice cast. However, many reviewers felt that these strengths were undermined by an overcrowded plot, breakneck pacing, uneven character development, and a perceived prioritization of fan service over emotional storytelling. In contrast, audiences proved far more receptive, embracing the film's spectacular visuals, fast-paced adventure, humor, and nostalgic celebration of Nintendo's history, contributing to its exceptional commercial performance and reinforcing the Mario film franchise's popularity despite its polarized critical reception. Following the commercial success of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Nintendo and its film partners continued to signal their long-term commitment to expanding the company's animated cinematic universe. As early as May 2025, Nintendo and Universal Pictures filed copyright registrations for an untitled Donkey Kong project, fueling widespread speculation that the companies were developing a standalone feature centered on Donkey Kong following his successful introduction in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023. Although no official plot details or creative personnel were announced at the time, industry observers viewed the filing as evidence that Nintendo intended to broaden its portfolio of animated films by giving additional franchise characters their own theatrical adventures while continuing to build an interconnected universe inspired by its video game properties. Speculation surrounding the future of the Mario film series increased in March 2026, shortly before the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, when Jack Black, the voice of Bowser, inadvertently revealed during promotional interviews that a third Mario film was planned for release in 2029. Although Nintendo and Illumination did not immediately provide official details regarding the project, Black's comments strongly suggested that the companies had already begun outlining the next chapter of the animated Mario franchise. The revelation reinforced earlier statements by Nintendo executives expressing confidence in the long-term potential of theatrical adaptations based on the company's most recognizable intellectual properties. In April 2026, following the worldwide release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, Nintendo creator Shigeru Miyamoto discussed the company's broader cinematic strategy and addressed speculation surrounding a possible crossover film inspired by Nintendo's Super Smash Bros. Video game series. Miyamoto indicated that Nintendo was not actively pursuing such a project, explaining that, unlike Super Smash Bros., the company's film strategy did not currently involve bringing together every major Nintendo character in a single crossover event. Instead, Nintendo intended to continue developing individual franchises independently while allowing each series to establish its own identity and storytelling style before considering larger connections between them. That same month, Universal Pictures officially scheduled an untitled Illumination, Nintendo animated event film for theatrical release on April 12, 2028. Although the project had not yet been formally announced, it was widely rumored to be the previously reported Donkey Kong spin-off, with speculation suggesting that it would further expand the Mario cinematic universe while exploring the character's world in greater depth. In addition to the Donkey Kong project, Nintendo and Universal also expressed interest in adapting Luigi's Mansion into an animated feature film, reflecting the company's broader ambition to transform multiple Nintendo franchises into successful theatrical properties. Collectively, these announcements underscored Nintendo's long-term vision of establishing a diverse portfolio of animated films based on its iconic video game series, with future installments expected to continue expanding the shared universe introduced through the Mario films while remaining focused on individual characters and their respective worlds rather than a single franchise-wide crossover. Review 1. There's imagination and enthusiasm here, but little else beneath the spectacle. Weird as this sounds, I think the Super Mario Galaxy movie has the same basic problems as Love Story. Hulu's glancing exploration of the doomed romance between Carolyn Bassett and JFK Jr. Both film and TV show have a handful of decent performances and a thrillingly bright eye for visual detailing, but both suffer from the fact that, for most of the running time, there's actually very little at stake. Sure, one is more likely to have a clever joke about sadistic Mario Maker levels, but the other is more likely to drop in Rhodes by Portishead at just the right second. Swings, as they say, and roundabouts. At least the Super Mario Galaxy movie is made with good intentions. This is the second big screen outing for this animated, Chris Pratt voiced Mario, and I'm tempted to say it's quite a bad movie that's been conjured with enthusiasm and imagination. Its badness is therefore kind of fascinating. Let's see if I can get the plot to fill a whole sentence. Rosalina has been captured by Bowser Jr., and everyone else has to try and rescue her. Okay, another sentence. To do that they're going to need to explore the galaxy. What this amounts to is a lot of quite vivid sequences, many of which are brisk and enjoyable. There's that gag about Mario Maker, for starters, and there's a fight in a kind of gravity-muddled space casino. Yoshi turns up and swallows lots of things, and even gets to explore Manhattan for an afternoon. There's a T.Rex and then a baby T.Rex. There's a nice scene with Robin Ulligent, wonderful cameo from Fox McCloud, voiced by Glenn Powell in perhaps the most perfect piece of casting since Sam Elliott played Lee Scoresby in another bad movie that had some good moments. The Super Mario Galaxy movie, official teaser, Nintendo Direct. Beyond that there are literally thousands of Easter eggs, whether it's a sight gag about a beloved old peripheral, not the Power Glove, but I'm sure that's in the background somewhere if you look for it, or the music from Mario 1-2 being referenced whenever the heroes head underground. Speaking of soundtracks, the movie is in love with the Gusty Garden theme, which is one of the series' best. Speaking of the series' best, There's a neat riff on the overworld map from Super Mario World. I could go on listing clever bits like this forever, but clever nods make for good post-credit sequences rather than movies, and at times any section of this movie could be a post-credits sequence to another, slightly better film. So what brings it all down for me? For one thing, and I feel mean for saying this, Chris Pratt's Mario places a bit of a killjoy right at the center of the movie. It's not just that the performance is flat, but the dialogue is awful, and most of the time Mario's just there to comment on what's already happening. But I think Mario's performance is a symptom of a bigger problem. The movie has a basic setup, which is fine. So does Oakley Hall's Warlock, but in its love of Mario games it also has assumed the pacing of Mario games. This means it's very dense with ideas that fly by in an instant and are then gone. It's an adventure of disjointed sequences. Gimmicks and speed are a perfect combination for platform games, not least because you can go back and replay levels. This, after all, is how all the beloved things that the Mario movies reference became beloved in the first place. But in a film, all these things rushing past incessantly can stun you into an elevated kind of boredom. Nothing is a proper movie moment in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, because absolutely everything is a moment. Everything is beautifully designed and conceived and choreographed. But it's here and then it's gone, and it didn't really have any consequence anyway. The movie winks at fans constantly but doesn't have anything to actually say to them. I appreciate that I am a 47-year-old man reviewing a film aimed at 5-year-olds. My answer to this is, yes, I'm almost 50. But I'm still almost embarrassingly ready to lose myself in fiction. There was a Specsavers ad that ran before the film and took 45 seconds to explore the world from the perspective of short-sighted children, and it absolutely destroyed me. I will remember it forever. On my deathbed I'll probably be thinking, "Core, Specsavers hit a home run that day." But the Mario movie I saw after that advert didn't register, and I suspect that's because there was no theme being explored beneath all the action, and the theme is what helps elevate a thing. It's the thing you actually have to say, or just to pick at and worry over. To put it a different way, when my daughter was younger we watched a lot of animated movies, and it was fascinating to see how the ones she returned to actually had a bit of substance to go with them. She wasn't a young media studies lecturer, but even so, the ones we rewatched until the discs burned up were all about something. You could argue that the Mario movies are about nostalgia. Fine, but whose nostalgia? And anyway, that's not really enough. I am not being entirely honest. The weird thing is there's almost an interesting movie in here, or rather there are parts of a movie where the ideas are briefly as brilliant as the dynamism and spectacle. But it's not a Mario movie. It's a Bowser movie. Bowser and Bowser Jr. have an intriguing dynamic for much of the film, with the son trying to complete the villainous plan that the father might have outgrown. The best sequence in the film belongs to them, and it's also one of the simplest. The father tells the son a thrillingly nasty bedtime story, and in doing so falls under its spell again. But this isn't a Bowser movie, just as it isn't really a Mario movie or a Luigi movie or a Rosalina movie or any of that jazz. There isn't enough space and time for anything truly memorable to develop, and it's a shame. After I left the cinema I looked through the cast list and, mates, it's dazzling. The people and talent in this film, but none of them really have a chance to shine. Other than Glenn Powell, of course, but you just try and stop him, buddy. So, perhaps Portishead said it best, never found our way. Regardless of what this review is based on a viewing of the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Eurogamer sourced its own tickets. Too like its predecessor, the Super Mario Galaxy movie seems destined to go down as one of this year's most divisive films. Which is kind of odd when you think about it. These generally inoffensive crowd-pleasing movies based on a near-universally beloved IP, carefully shepherded by Shigeru Miyamoto himself, probably shouldn't be getting folks so riled up, and yet, following in the footsteps of 2023's The Super Mario Bros. Movie, professional reviews for the Super Mario Galaxy movie have been witheringly negative, and to listen to some folks, the flick represents nothing less than the demise of cinema, an egregious example of the enslopification of culture writ large. Meanwhile, The movie seems to be chugging right along toward making another billion-something dollars, and the reaction from the general movie-going public once again seems to be, "Hey, that was fun. What's going on here?" Just the latest example of the slow death of good taste. Or are these Mario movies more super than they're given credit for? I won't beat around the bush. I enjoyed the Super Mario Galaxy movie, perhaps not quite as much as the Super Mario Bros. Movie, but still, it was a fine time at the theater. And to be clear, I watch a lot of movies. I saw every Oscar-nominated film this year. I'm generally immune to the lure of member berries and gave up on Marvel and Star Wars years ago. And yet, I like these Mario movies. Sure. Maybe I'm just particularly fond of the set of keys Nintendo and Illumination are jingling in front of me, but I don't think that's all there is to it. The Super Mario Galaxy movie follows the broad strokes of its namesake game, with plenty of extras bolted on and some character arcs from the first movie carrying forward. The movie starts by paying off the post-credits teaser from its predecessor, with Mario and Luigi discovering and befriending Yoshi, who mostly plays a familiar Minion-esque physical comedy role in the movie. Nintendo may have reined in Illumination's love of poop and butt jokes, but they do get to have some fun with Yoshi's act-laying abilities. From there, we jump into the Space-Y stuff, as we meet the Brie Larson-voiced Rosalina, who was kidnapped by Bowser Jr., a latchkey kid looking to prove his villainous worth to his father. Speaking of Bowser, he's still in mini form and trying to convince people he's turned over a new leaf, with Luigi being fully on board and Mario very much not. In one of the movie's better comic bits, eventually, an intrepid Luma manages to bring news of Rosalina's kidnapping to Peach, who impulsively sets off to find out what's up, leaving Mario in charge of the Mushroom Kingdom. The reign of good King Mario doesn't last long, as Bowser Jr. also attacks the Mushroom Kingdom, resulting in two groups, Mario/Luigi/Yoshi/Bowser and Peach, Toad, simultaneously journeying across the cosmos to find Bowser Jr. and Rosalina. From there, the plot's thrust is simple enough. Team Mario and Team Peach start on separate paths but eventually join up, tracking Bowser Jr. to his freshly built Bowser-themed planet, Rosalina-powered Super Reapin. Mario himself is given precious little character development this time around, but Bowser and Peach are given some welcome attention, with the former being genuinely torn between reform and his old villainous ways and the latter exploring her past and connection to Rosalina. So, there is a solid core here, although, as mentioned, it's one buried under a lot of side quest-style diversions. I haven't even gotten into the fact that Fox McCloud just casually strolls into the movie and joins the main cast in the third act like it's no big thing. Also, while there is some character work happening with Bowser and Peach, you don't get the sense that the makers of this movie care all that much that you care. The reality is, if you're judging the Super Mario Galaxy movie as art, you're likely to be let down. Of course, art can be any multitude of things, but broadly speaking, when people critique art they're looking for something that makes them feel or think in a deeper way beyond pure entertainment. This is likely where the big disconnect between many critics and these movies lies, because I don't think Nintendo and Illumination particularly care about those traditional markers of good art. The film isn't really about anything deeper than what you see on screen. And while its character arcs feel less bolted on than the Mario has daddy issues stuff from the first movie, they're still frequently delivered with a certain jokey offhandedness. Ultimately, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is a very Nintendo product, as like a lot of the company's games, the focus is on craft rather than art. For all the criticism Illumination receives for its alleged shallowness, it is the master of the nuts and bolts of CGI animated film production. Their Super Mario movies look great, they sound great, they move and flow with a precision little else can match. But there's more to the craft of these movies than that. The signature trick of Illumination's Mario movies is to take various divergent Nintendo characters, elements, and references, sometimes from games separated by decades, then combine and expand these concepts just enough to create cohesive new set pieces and stages for Mario and friends to play on. I think a real litmus test for whether you like these movies is an early scene in the first Super Mario Bros. Movie where our hero has just arrived in the Mushroom Kingdom and is being led around the city surrounding Peach's castle by Toad. The scene is densely packed with game references, Toad's using coin blocks as ATMs, an antique store full of old power-ups, the warp pipe transit system, etc. It all culminates in Mario having to make his way across a series of floating platforms and blocks, which are never explained. Mario himself calls out the way they're just floating there. For some folks, I get that this scene just plays as a series of references. Oh, there's a coin, there's a warp pipe, there's a cheep followed by a bit of inexplicable, perhaps irritating if you don't much like games, video gaminess. I think scenes like this one are where a lot of those "it's just a video game on a movie screen" critiques come from. But to me, and a lot of the folks that watch these movies, there's a real charm to the way Nintendo and Illumination build these unique, distinctly video game flavored worlds out of familiar elements. I don't need the floating blocks explained, they're just part of how this universe works. No. These worlds don't typically stir deep emotions in me. I don't leave the theater thinking about the film's deep undercurrents, but they're fun, intricately crafted, unapologetically weird, and yes, nostalgic, just like the games they're based on. The Super Mario Galaxy movie pushes this sort of clever craftsmanship to the next level, drawing in even more disparate and unexpected elements. At one point, Peach and Toad find themselves inside a casino within a giant question block featuring both the crazy stick-to-the-walls gravity of Mario Galaxy and a cast of weird outcast villains from the classic Super Mario Bros. 2. This all culminates in a well-staged showdown between Peach, Birdo, Bowser, Ward, and an army of ninjas. Is this all just key jingling? If it is, it's very creative, unexpected, and well-executed key jingling. If somebody walks up to a baby and starts juggling 10 pairs of keys with expert precision, I'm still going to give them a round of applause. The Mario Galaxy movie also sees Illumination further hone its ability to translate Mario's video game acrobatics into thrilling cinematic action scenes. A standout scene sees Mario and Peach teaming up to surpass a gauntlet thrown down by Bowser Jr., but this isn't any platforming challenge. It's clearly meant to bring to mind the most thumb-cramping challenges created in Super Mario Maker, complete with endless fire bars and buzzsaws. Much like the moment from Illumination's first Mario movie where Mario and Luigi grabbed the invincible star, seeing Mario and Peach team up to beat the unbeatable is a stirring, almost moving, moment, not because it's the climax of some tacked-on Hollywood character arc, but because it's a well-crafted cinematic interpretation of great gaming experiences millions of people have shared and enjoyed. Of course, there's a thing as too much cleverness, and Nintendo and Illumination arguably try to pack in a bit too much. In a glaring example, right near the end of the movie, just as Fox McCloud is about to break through Planet Bowser's defenses in a climactic moment, Mario and Luigi are turned into babies and banished to a dinosaur planet in what feels like a needless final diversion. A little more focus and a little more room to breathe likely would have helped deflect some of the "it's just a series of references" criticisms. I think the Super Mario Bros. Movie will likely hold up better, but make no mistake, your kids are going to wear out the replay button rewatching the Super Mario Galaxy movie once it hits streaming. You can find additional information about our standard review process and ethics policy here. Follow on Google to get more of our news coverage in your feeds. 3. I tried. I really did. After very much disliking 2023's The Super Mario Bros. Movie, I went into its sequel, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, hoping beyond hope that things would improve. I'm a huge Nintendo fan and have been for almost half a century. This didn't have to be perfect, it just had to find a balance between an emotional, captivating story to go along with all the Nintendo madness, something the first film didn't do, and many other animated films have done. But when Mario and Luigi got turned into babies and were riding Yoshi with Toad, holding a super scope, being chased by a T-Rex over a bridge of bones, I realized nothing had changed. In fact, things may have gotten worse. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is a non-stop barrage of stuff with no meaningful connection or cohesion. Oh sure, there's a story, but it's such a thin story that the gaps are filled with characters flying, jumping, or falling into new areas where they meet new characters, who then start flying, jumping, or falling around too. Every frame is filled with little visual flares and Easter eggs that mean nothing, and the veiled attempts at giving the film a heart are laughable. In the end, though, the biggest problem might be that Mario and Luigi become supporting characters in their own movie, achieving little and learning less. The story of the Super Mario Galaxy movie is that Bowser Jr., Benny Safdie, the son of Bowser, Jack Black, kidnaps the powerful Princess Rosalina, Brie Larson, in an attempt to find and rescue his father. Rosalina's stars then recruit Princess Peach, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Toad, Keegan-Michael Key, to save her. But Mario, Chris Pratt, and Luigi, Charlie Day, get worried and go after her too, with the help of their new friend Yoshi, Donald Glover, and Bowser, who was captured at the end of the last film. Bowser Jr. kidnapping Rosalina is the first sign the movie hasn't learned anything from the last go-around. We don't know either of these characters. There's no setup. Sure, Nintendo fans might know them. And having seen the last movie, we can pretty easily discern that one is somehow related to the evil Bowser, and the other looks oddly similar to the heroic Peach. But beyond that, there's no effort to catch the audience up. So from the very first scene, we're given a big action moment with little to no discernible stakes or interest. From there, we find Mario and Luigi riding dirt bikes across the desert. Is it cool? Absolutely. Mario even does his little wahoo when he does a jump, but does it add anything? Not in the slightest. Does it come back and pay off in some kind of interesting way? Not really. And that's how the whole film goes. Characters, places, and scenes are in there for no other reason than to pad the film out. Take Yoshi, for example. Of course, he's adorable and mischievous, but he's seemingly in the film only to be adorable and mischievous. There's no important reason for him to be there. No big payoff. He's just the next obvious character to add to the mix, having been teased in the previous film. Later, Fox McCloud from Star Fox is introduced, and, as voiced by Glenn Powell, he gets an appropriately fun introduction and surface-level role to play in the story. But does he need to be there? Is introducing this famous Nintendo character in any way additive outside of "oh, look, that's Glenn Powell as the dude from Star Fox"? Not at all. Mario and Luigi go through the film similarly. They're following Peach and Toad the entire time, hanging with Yoshi, whom they adopt way too easily, and constantly reacting instead of acting. The film is named after them, and yet, they're only there to support the story after the fact. They're just flying through the movie by the seat of their pants with little to no reason behind it. But, ultimately, that's what these movies are. They're a grab bag of stuff for adults to put on an iPad to distract the kids while they eat at a restaurant. Which is fine. If you like the first movie, you'll probably like this one. The movie is loud and bright and, unsurprisingly, quite beautiful. But it's vapid and maddening in terms of enjoyment or engagement outside of the most basic, surface-level things. That becomes especially obvious when the film attempts to dive 2 inches below the surface. That first comes with the relationships between Bowser and Bowser Jr. We don't know the dynamic between these two, but the characters sit there and talk about it for about 3 minutes as awkwardly as you can imagine before jumping back into the action. The same goes for the mysterious connection between Peach and Rosalina. It's set up, quickly explained, but never discussed or enriched beyond that. Both instances feel like the filmmakers are forcing emotion into the film just to say it's in there. They even completely wipe one of those away near the end, in frustrating fashion. And yet, there are moments peppered throughout the Super Mario Galaxy movie that really work. An early Yoshi montage is told with some hilarious flair. An exciting action scene near the end beautifully captures the dynamics of the video games. And I'd be lying if I didn't geek out a bit about some of the old-school Nintendo references in there, like Karobi the Robot, Kung Fu, Pro Wrestling, Excitebike, and the aforementioned Super Scope. They might not add anything, but they still brought a smile to my face. That smile, however, eventually faded. Mario and Luigi find their power-ups, save the day, and the film ends so abruptly that it'll make your head spin. It's almost as if it was easier to roll the credits instead of having the characters have any meaningful interaction or wrap up, or that there really wasn't much to interact about or wrap up at all. Such is the way of things with the Super Mario Galaxy movie. It's not here to make you feel anything. It barely dabbles in nostalgia. It's a movie made to assault your senses for 90 minutes, and it does that with a vengeance. We just wish it did anything else, too. The Super Mario Galaxy movie is in theaters on April 1st. Want more IO9 news? Check out when to expect the latest Marvel, Star Wars, and Star Trek releases, what's next for the DC Universe on film and TV, and everything you need to know about the future of Doctor Who. For as with so many cinematic adaptations of video games, the Super Mario Galaxy movie doesn't leave you time to catch your breath. The operative word for the sequel to 2023's smash hit The Super Mario Bros. Movie is more, as in more action, more characters, more Easter eggs, more everything. It even centers much of the story in outer space. If you're looking for a James Bond movie equivalent, it would be Moonraker. Not that any of this will necessarily be a problem for the youngsters, or for nostalgic adults who grew up playing the Nintendo games and seem intent on never moving on from their childhood obsessions. Relentlessly fast-paced and filled with hyperkinetic visuals, the sequel hits the sweet spot in terms of what its target audience wants, even if adult non-aficionados will find little of interest other than the starry vocal cast. Release date, Friday, April 2nd. Cast, Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Benny Safdie, Donald Glover, Issa Rae, Louise Guzman, Kevin Michael Richardson, Brie Larson, Glenn Powell. Directors, Aaron Horvath, Michael Jelenic. Screenwriter, Matthew Fogel. Rated PG, 1 hour 38 minutes. And what a cast it is. Among those returning from the first film are Chris Pratt and Charlie Day as Mario and Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach. In charge of the Mushroom Kingdom, Jack Black as the villainous Bowser, now shrunken in size and forced to participate in a book club, and Keegan-Michael Key as the loyal Toad. Now add to that Donald Glover as the adorable dinosaur Yoshi, Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr., intent on getting revenge for his dad's capture. Between this and Happy Gilmore 2, the Smashing Machine director seems intent on exploring his silly side, and Oscar winner Brie Larson as Princess Rosalina, whose kidnapping by Bowser Jr. sets the plot, such as it is, in motion. It's an embarrassment of vocal riches. Oh, and let's not forget Glenn Powell as the macho, Han Solo-like Fox McCloud, in a crossover from the Star Fox games, whose appearance was kept a secret by those crafty folks at Universal until just a week before the film's opening. It all makes you feel bad for those hard-working, unknown voice actors from the games who don't even get considered when their properties make the leap to the big screen. Although it must be said that many of the stars' contributions here, especially those of Black and Glover, are outstanding. It's also refreshing that most of the time, the celebrity voices aren't instantly recognizable. If I digress, it's probably because there's not a lot to say about the film, which basically involves the Plumber brothers, accompanied by Princess Peach and Toad, venturing into space to rescue Rosalina. Cue the endlessly frenetic action sequences, rendered in eye-popping, color-saturated animation that feels like the visual equivalent of sugary sweets, punctuated by the occasional jokes and gags that played well with the audience at the children-packed press screening. Matthew Fogel's screenplay, which mostly pays lavish fan service to its inspiration, also weaves in a few emotional elements. There's a distinct romantic vibe between Mario and Princess Peach, which I can't wait to be explored in the next installment, and some real father-son issues between Bowser and his offspring, who seems intent on outdoing him in villainy. There's a funny visual gag revolving around Mario's inability to draw, and there are some amusing lines that seem designed to make us feel like we're in on the jokes, such as a character complaining, "That monkey just used his cuteness for crime," and another complaining, "What is it with you princesses and getting captured?" Indeed, one truly funny highlight is the scene featuring ROB, Robotic Operating Body, who proves just as unhelpful manning an information desk as the sloth DMV clerk in Zootopia. Needless to say, cuteness abounds, from those adorable Lumas to Luigi and Mario transformed into babies, minus their trademark mustaches. But the less said about the latter the better, since the film's creators may take it as encouragement for an infant Mario Bros. Prequel. 5. The latest movie from Nintendo and Illumination builds on the Super Mario world while bringing people of all ages along for the ride. The Super Mario Galaxy movie tells a familiar story featuring sibling relationships and the complexity of father-son bonds. But underneath the visually stunning surface of the film is an attention to detail that devout Nintendo fans have come to expect and appreciate from the video game company. After watching the movie 4 times since its theatrical release on April 1st, I am pleased to file my review for Shackness. Mario, Luigi, Peach, and a wonderful ensemble of new and old characters tell a story that surpasses 2023's The Super Mario Bros. Movie in every way. It's simply delightful. Reverential references returned. The movie features a cornucopia of Easter eggs that rivals its predecessor in every way. It does this in a manner that will have the most super of Nintendo fans grinning from ear to ear. But there are tiny nods to classic games like Gyromite that may go over the head of more casual viewers of the movie. The important part of how the Big N and Illumination handle these cameos and references is that they don't take away from the viewing experience, but create a need for multiple viewings to pick up all the sweet tips of the cap to franchises and characters from across the Nintendo cinematic universe. And see you, I found myself picking up more cool details upon my second, third, and fourth viewings of the film, and I am still discovering new details after over 50 viewings of its 2023 predecessor. Mario creator and legendary game developer Shigeru Miyamoto's fingerprints are all over these films, and Illumination's team has clearly stepped up to the challenge of meeting a high level of quality and fun by creating amazing set pieces, characters, and moments throughout the latest movie. The integration of video game sound effects sprinkled throughout the entire movie were just another highlight that casual viewers might not have noticed. Early on in the film, it was great to hear the Fire Flower power-up sound effect when Luigi and Mario search Tastarina for Yoshi. The movie flawlessly executes these tiny nostalgia bombs in audio design, character cameos, but most importantly in the amazing score. Brian Tyler Cooked music is a crucial component of both video games and motion pictures, and Brian Tyler's score for the Super Mario Galaxy movie is superb. The maestro masterfully chains together over 100 different tunes from the Mario franchise, adds dashes of Yoshi music hits, and ties it all together with the now iconic theme he created for the Super Mario Bros. Movie back in 2023. The attention to detail of delicately using a few bars from Super Mario Bros. World 1-2 adds to an early scene in the movie. The implementation of themes from the Super Mario Galaxy franchise is also a highlight of the movie that enhances the experience for longtime fans while also introducing a whole new generation to the magic of those classic Wii Mario games' original soundtracks. I would be singing extremely high praise for the Super Mario Galaxy movie's score if that was all Brian Tyler achieved, but then this mad lad went and integrated themes from the Star Fox franchise in a divine manner that gave me goosebumps during each of my 4 viewings. A casual viewer might think that the music in this movie was good, but there are legitimately spiritual moments in this film for longtime Nintendo fans that are elevated by the perfectly timed execution of Brian Tyler's adaptation of iconic Koji Kondo tunes. It's important to note that even the tiny bit of popular music from outside of Nintendo games was interwoven much better than the jarring implementation of songs like Take On Me and Holding Out for a Hero in the previous film. They can let you do that. Star Fox: The Fox McCloud extended cameo is an absolute highlight of the film. The teams at Illumination and Nintendo handled the character's introduction in such an immaculate fashion that allows people who have never heard of Star Fox to join in on the fun while allowing fans to absolutely freak out to each and every detail. The 90s cartoon-style anime cutscene that plays as Fox explains his backstory and masterful use of Star Fox songs and themes throughout the rest of the film elevates the viewing experience in such a material way. Without spoiling anything, The scenes featuring Fox are dazzling and fun. They are truly highlights of the entire movie. I can confirm that I still had a giant smile on my face during each viewing of the movie during these iconic scenes. Expanding the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. While the introduction of Fox McCloud and the use of music from the Star Fox video game franchise might be a major highlight of the film, it is important to give some of the other characters their flowers as well. Yoshi shines bright in his big screen debut, with a marvelous voice acting performance by Donald Glover Jr. The character design, use of themes from Yoshi's games, and humorous writing combined to create one of the best forms of Nintendo's beloved green dinosaur. While Arobi is only featured for a few hilarious moments in the movie, that beloved retro gaming icon shined brightly in the Super Mario Galaxy movie while not detracting from the plot of feeling out of place in the story. The character sits at the nexus of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, as Arobi is playable in games like Super Smash Bros., featured in Mario Kart World, and even a non-playable character in Star Fox 64. His cameo was perfectly executed. Brie Larson's performance as Rosalina was excellent, but the character's lack of screen time is one of the bigger disappointments in the movie. As a casualty of the film's plot, Rosalina is relegated to a role similar to that of Luigi in 2023's The Super Mario Bros. Movie. That being said, Rosalina's scenes are absolutely wonderful and I hope we get to see her character develop in future movies. Luigi had some moments in the first movie, but Charlie Day's comedic chops really got to shine in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Playing the goofball suits Day and Illumination, and Nintendo leaned into Luigi's lovable nature with perfectly timed one-liners, jokes, and iconic moments for Mario's little brother. Pixel-perfect platforming. The Super Mario Galaxy movie captures the speed of the games and injects retro gaming love into basically every moment of the experience. There are so many references to each game in the franchise's 40-year history that it is hard for even the most seasoned Nintendo gamer to notice. The breakneck pace of some of the scenes in the movie create a bit of an issue because so many cool set pieces, cameos, and moments are so fleeting that they can be easy to miss. While it captures the speedrunning roots of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, some scenes might feel too rapid for some viewers to keep up with. While the pace of the earlier platforming scenes are fast and furious, they culminate in a huge payoff toward the end of the film that celebrates the Mario franchise's 8-bit platforming roots in a manner that makes me smile just thinking about it. Princess Power. One thing I have loved about the Super Mario franchise's return to the big screen in the 2020s has been Peach's elevation as a hero. Princess Peach has frequently been cast as the damsel in distress in Mario video games, but she is a certifiable badass in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I love that we also get to see more about her origin story in the film, with some touching moments that elevate Peach's character and lore. There are also tiny moments that develop Peach and Mario's relationship that are handled with little things that don't belabor the point that those two might